Good evening, and thank you so much for joining me again for a brief reflection at the end of the day. My name is Duncan. We've been working our way through the Beatitudes, and we have come to Matthew chapter 5, verse 8 now. Let me read it to you. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Eugene Peterson's paraphrase is beautiful of this short idea. It says this: you're blessed when you get your inside world, your mind and heart put right. Then you can see God in the outside world. There's something powerful, isn't there, about this promise of being pure in heart, that a state that says that there's no guile in you. You're not trying to operate some kind of hidden agenda. You're not trying to manipulate or control people with your words or with your thoughts. You're not trying to give a good impression. You're not trying to create a facade. To be in that place, to be pure in heart, as Eugene Peterson describes it, to have your inside world and your outside world put right, that's when you can truly see God. In the spiritual journey, the spiral, the spiritual pathway that I've been describing, this promise of being able to see God because we're pure in heart comes after the promise that we will be shown mercy. Remember this pattern that I've been talking to you about, these steps, if you like, in the cycle or the circle of godliness and spirituality. They begin with this sense of honesty about our lack and our need and our brokenness. We are poor in spirit, and as a result, the promise is that the whole of the kingdom of heaven becomes open to us. Life in a different sphere and a new plane becomes possible when we realize just how fractured we are. That then leads to a deep sense of being sorry for our lives, for the mistakes that we've made, the relationships that we've broken, the fractured way in which we live. That's when we mourn. And when we mourn, God comes in his spirit and by his power to bring us comfort. That leads to the third step. As a result of mourning, we are able to be honest about ourselves. We don't have to put on airs and graces anymore. We are meek. We know God's great strength and we're not relying on our own. And when that happens, life becomes possible. The meek inherit the earth. The fourth step then leads to us being hungry and thirsty for righteousness, a deep desire to live like God, to demonstrate God's purposes and plans in the world. And when we have that desire, God meets us because God always meets hungry people. That leads to a desire for others to be in relationship with God and to experience his mercy as well. So we become people who want to show the mercy of God, not just hold on to it and hoard it. And that leads to the step that we are considering for a moment tonight, that we are pure in heart, that we are at peace with ourselves and with the world and with God. Imagine the beauty of a spirituality, of a life that has nothing to prove, that doesn't need the applause of the world, doesn't need the accolades of wealth and power, it doesn't need position, can just be content with who we are. And in that moment, when we are content with who we are, we see God for who he is. We enter into a deeper, beautiful relationship of acceptance, accepted by him, loved by him, and cherished by him, because we have nothing to prove. Many, many years ago, when I was in my early 20s, I spent my life longing for people's approval, partly because of things that had happened to me when I was growing up. But one particular moment in my life changed that. I had an encounter with the Holy Spirit that lasted for 3 weeks, where I sobbed and wept and cried as I realized that God was reaching into me and taking out of me all the wrong impressions that I had of myself, all the seeking to impress other people, needing their approval. It had all come to me because of the way I was brought up, and it was all drained. And I cried for 3 weeks solid. And at the end of the 3 weeks, I stopped crying. And I remember going into the bathroom on the morning that I'd stopped crying and looking in the mirror and realizing that I saw someone that I was content with. I saw someone that I knew God loved. I had nothing to prove. What had happened 3 weeks earlier was that God had said, not in an audible voice, but God had said something very profound to me. He had said, Malcolm, there's nothing that you can do that will make me love you more. And there's nothing that you can do that will make me love you less. And I have no disillusions about you. I have no illusions about you. So you will never disillusion me. You will never disillusion God because he has no illusions about you. Nothing that you can do will ever make him love you more. and nothing that you can do will ever make him love you less. When you realise that, you can be yourself. You can come without mixed motives and rest in the grace and in the mercy and in the presence of God. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Here's my night blessing for tonight. May you find faith to welcome change instead of fearing it. The whisper of what might be louder in your imagination than the shouts of complacency or false comfort. May the murmurings of possibility in your soul join God's song of grace. He has more for your life. God bless you.
and keep you wrapped around his heart. May you be known by love.